As of Java 8 or JDK 8, that interface is not only having the abstract method, it can have some implementation also, and those implementation can be provided with the help of static and default or static or default method. Right. So let's see the example. So consider that here you have the interface called my interface. So that which has two methods that those are the static method and the default method. So the syntax is like that: static void hello with some statement, default void new method with some statements. Okay, so what the implementing class can do? So here we have the implementing class called demo, implements the interface my interface, which has a main method. There I'm creating the object of the demo, d is equal to new demo. And if I want to call the static method, so obviously the static method is supposed to be called with the help of the interface name or the implementing class name. Okay, so here I'm calling that static method with the help of my interface dot hello, and the default method could be called with the help of reference of the object of implementing class. Okay, so this is the static method and default method, and you can provide some implementation in this method. So okay, so that it is violating the concept of object-oriented programming of interface, right? But it is permitted from the JDK 8 onwards. Okay, so what next? So declaring the default interface method. Let's see how we can declare, or what are the rules. So the rules are like default methods are declared by using the default keyword, as we have seen in the previous example. The default keyword can be used only with the interface method signature. It cannot use with the class. Default methods are public by definition, and the public modifier is optional as the abstract methods, right? Default method cannot be marked as a private, protected, static, final, or abstract. Remember this thing. And the last one, that default methods must have a concrete method body. That means the implementation must be there. Okay, so problem with the default method. Let's see what could be the problem. So the problem, let's see that the interface A is declared with the default method, that is default method, default void default method, and consider that there is one more interface called interface B, okay, which has also default method having the same name. Here you can see both are having the same signature. Now suppose we have implementing a class like IMPL which implements both of the interface in interface A and interface B, and assume that from this class, if you are trying to call the default method, in this case which default method is going to be called? Obviously here there is a confusion, ambiguity, right? So this is not going to be executed. Okay, so here you are going to have the error that duplicate default methods name default method with the parameter are inherited from the types interface B and interface A. Okay, so this is not permitted. But even though if you require to have this kind of situation, then what you can do? Let's see. So you can have one more implementation over here, like default method implementation in the implemented class, and there you can call the default method with the help of super keyword, right? This is a keyword which is useful over here to call the default method. I will come back to the super keyword later on, but this is how the problem can be solved. Okay. Or what else you can do, that you can have the implementation of the default method inside the class itself rather than having the implementation in the interface A and interface B. Okay. Declaring the static interface methods, how it is possible. So static interface methods are declared by using the static keyword. Static interface methods are public by default, and the public modifier is optional, same as the default method. Static interface methods cannot be marked as private, protected, final, or abstract. Static interface methods must have the concrete method body. And when invoking a static interface method, the method's type uh, or the interface name must be included in the invocation. Or obviously that while we refer the static member, at that time we specify the name of the entity. It could be either interface or it could be either class. So here, let's see the example. Consider that we have a new interface with the static method, that is static void hello, and how this could be used or refer. So it could be referred like this, that interface demo implement new interface. This is a class which we have declared, and inside the main, we are just creating the object of this class, that is the interface demo. But this is not the we require to have to call the static method. We don't require reference to call the reference. Sorry, to call the static method, we just have to use the name of the interface or name of the implementing class, that is interface demo. This is sufficient. An interface is similar to class in the following ways. So interface can contain any number of methods. Okay, an interface is written in a file with the .java extension with the name of the interface matching the name of the file. The bytecode of interface appears in the .class file. Interface appears in the package and their corresponding bytecode file must be in the directory that matches the package name. An interface is different from the class in a several ways, including that you cannot instantiate an interface. That means you cannot create the object of an interface. An interface does not contain any constructor. All of the methods in the interface are abstract. Interface cannot contain a instance fields. The only fields that can appear in the interface must be declared both static and final. That means constant. An interface is not extended by a class. It is implemented by a class. Okay. An interface can extend multiple interfaces. So the data that we can have interface are only constant. Okay. So let's see the alternative representation. Suppose if you will try to change the value of the data which is declared in the interface, then it will give you the error. Okay, the final field my interface dot my data cannot be assigned. The my data my interface is the name of the interface and my data is the name of data. Okay, so that is not permissible. So how to declare constant in a Java? Okay, that is applicable to interface also. So any data declared with the public static final is called constant. Remember this thing. So there is a way to declare the constant in Java, that static final integer days in a week, that is 7. Same declaration we have done over here for the integer constant, string constant, float constant, and character constant. Okay, constant in the interface can be declared in a different ways, but all are same thing, like public integer, integer, static integer, final integer, public static integer, public final integer, public static final integer. All are same thing. Okay, remember this thing.